Hello and welcome once again to 10 Minutes with Tinian. I'm here with the wonderful Kendra Askew, and she is a staffing professional here to talk with us about some of the ways to find the best employment opportunities in and around Knoxville. She is a professional who has years of experience in recruiting as well as partnering business to business with business owners and professionals who are looking for top talent. So thank you, Kendra, for coming.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks. Thanks for the invitation.
So tell me a little bit about your experience with staffing.
So I've actually been with Ronstadt for 7.5 years. I'm a market manager now. I actually have started there as a recruiter, as a staffing manager, and
tell me a little bit about the roles that you recruit for and some of the people you partner with.
Okay. Well, my specialty is manufacturing logistics positions. So these would be any kind of warehouses, any of the automotive company manufacturers. We staff for entry-level positions like lumpers, warehouse associates, order pickers, packers, all the way up to operation and plant managers. Well, typically the entry-level positions are going to be on a temp to hire basis. When you get up into like production supervisors, operations managers, plant managers, those are typically going to be a direct hire candidate. We are all the time recruiting, and so if you're looking for a direct hire opportunity, typically what we do is that we would have you to send over a copy of your resume. We talk to you about what you are looking for. We try to find out, as much as we can about your work history and your experience, so that we will be able to market that to our clients that we work with. Now, the temp to hire positions that we have, we generally have anywhere from 15 to 30 open orders from our clients at any given time, and so we're looking for the right candidate to match those positions. But we're also working for two. We're working for two different people. We're working for the talent or the potential employee, and we're also working for our client. And so what we want to do is we want to make a good match to where the employee would be also happy with the employee. We always do what we call as a pre-screen or a pre-interview to sort of figure out, what the actual future employee would want. And so we're trying to find out, what type of position are you looking for? What hours are you looking for? What is your minimum salary expectation? We want to make sure that we check off as many of those wants that we can. And so if they're looking for, I really want an office job, then we're going to pass them over to our office and administrative division.
If you know that someone's looking for a job and they're maybe not in a job right now, or maybe they've been in a job for a long time, what are some of the top suggestions you have for job seekers?
Well, what I can say is that you always want to put it out to your sphere of influence, the people that you hang around, people that you've worked with in the past, friends, family members, people that go to your church organization. You want to let people know that, hey, I'm looking for a new opportunity. And because you'll be surprised at how many people will be like, oh, this place is hiring, and they'll recommend or refer you. Social media is big. And so social media, put it out there on social media. Some people are so private that they're not able to benefit from these resources, and they're great resources. And so put it out on social media. Also, there's lots and lots of groups on social media that you can associate yourself with and be a part of that will give you tips on looking for employment, give you some tips about interviewing, and all those things that can be a resource for you as you start your new job search. Definitely needs to be up to date, so you want to put your most current employer on there. You also want to keep it simple, especially since a lot of us recruiters, we're going to utilize the larger search engines like Monster, Career Builder. So you definitely want to be able to make them search engine friendly, and you want to have the keywords. And so now, if you are like a guru of Excel and you do all types of, then you may want to put that in there. But save the important things, like you want to put your successes. Increased sales by 35%, sold a $5 million account, business to business experience, specializing in manufacturing logistics. You want to put those keywords in so that you will be able to sell yourself and stand out. People like to do 2 and 3 page, 4 page resumes. That is not advised, because when a recruiter is going through these resumes, 4 pages, 3 pages is just way too long. If you can get everything on 1 or 2 pages, that's going to be the best. Well, the biggest thing I can tell you that that I've experienced is that my clients and myself in general, we like people to be positive. I've had experiences where I've gotten the person on the phone and I say, okay, so why are you looking to leave XYZ company? And then they just go into a whole spiel about how they don't like their employer, their supervisor is a mess, and all that. You really want to stay positive, and you really want to have a real good reason as to why you're going to leave. A lot of people are honest, and they're like, because of the money. But if it's only because of the money, people are going to think potentially that that you're going to leave, and that you're only out for the next best thing. You just have to be honest, because with a recruiter, we'd like to know how anxious you are to leave your current position, because some people are just they're just soft, they're just testing the market, and then you go through these 3 interviews, and they make an offer, and then they don't want to leave. And so you really have to be honest with what would make you leave. That way we will not put you in those positions to where you're leaving one place or even interviewing only to go down through 2 and 3 interviews just to say, I'm going to stay where I am. Because ultimately my goal is to find you exactly what you're looking for.
Certainly. Tips for the in-person interview?
Well, you definitely want to dress professionally. I have a blazer on, I'm going to have some slacks on, I'm going to have some closed-toed shoes on, and I'm going to be professional for the interview. They need to arrive early, but not too early. I've had people come to interviews 30 minutes early. So you want to be anywhere between 8 to 10 minutes early, but you don't want to be 15 to 20 minutes early.
How important is a cover letter?
A cover letter for me is pretty important now, especially if you are sending it out to companies. I don't know how you're getting out, but it really gives them an overview of who you are and what you're looking for, and it's like an introduction of yourself. And so you're basically introducing yourself to this company. This is what your strengths are, this is what you're looking for, so that they will want to go on to the resume. But it doesn't need to be too much. Again, you're trying to give enough information to where they want to call you for the phone interview or bring you in for the face-to-face interview. Another thing I wanted to mention too is that sometimes you'll get a call from a company and you're just like, I really, really don't think I want that job. And so I'm going to be honest, and this is just a tip that I think, if you're really a nervous interviewer, why not try that interview anyway? Just for practice.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it could turn out today that you misread what the position was, and it's totally different from what you understood, and you're anxious to get an opportunity to work for this company. But I think that sometimes people are quick to dismiss opportunities. But for one thing is that they may not have given you all the details about the position in the job description. And then 2, it's always going to be an opportunity for you to meet other people. You may go to that interview and say, this isn't going to work for me. And because of your honesty, they say, I've got a good friend that's hiring. You may want to get in touch with him. So it's an opportunity for you to network, for you to practice, because the more times you interview, the better that you're going to get at it. And another thing I think too is that it gives you an opportunity to get comfortable back in that role, because a lot of people aren't just interviewing a lot.
Right.
And so if you've been on your job for 4 or 5 years, you haven't interviewed in 4 or 5 years. And so it gives you an opportunity to warm up to being open to.
Check out those interviews that you get that you may not be completely interested in. Go for it if it's not a complete inconvenience.
Yeah. I mean, if it's door-to-door and sales and you got to move to Texas, I get it. But if it's something that is along that line of that you may be interested in, what's the harm in it to find out more information? And you can be honest with them, I really just want to get some more information and go from there. But it's just another opportunity for you to have practice, to be in front of someone, and then a networking opportunity as well. They may be hiring for another position down the road, and you come straight to mind because you went into the interview.
What are some top questions that candidates should ask while at an in-person interview?
Well, you definitely want to have some kind of questions to ask, because it shows that that you actually have a genuine interest. So you want to have some kind of questions about the company. I always ask that you ask them for the website address so you can research the company. You'll definitely probably find some information from there that you may or may not have questions on. One of the best questions that I've heard recently during the interview process is the girl asked me, she said, what does success look like to you?
Oh, wonderful.
It actually will help you to get an idea of what that manager that you're interviewing that you may be reporting to,
That's a good
what
one.
they're like. It's an excellent question.
Mm-hmm.
And so I love that question because you know what? Success can mean a lot of things to many, many people. I think that another couple of questions that you would want to ask is, toward the end of the interview, what are your next steps in making a hiring decision? That sort of lets them know that you're interested in the next steps. A lot of times they'll say, hey, we have a couple more interviews, but we're going to make our decision by Wednesday of next week. That gives you an opportunity to know what the next steps are so that you won't be so anxious to hear back.
So we've gone through the interview. They've said the next steps. What would you suggest someone does for, follow up after the interview?
Basically, one of the things I say that you should always do after your interview is you should always send an email or a handwritten letter to thank the interviewer for their time. That will definitely separate you from other candidates that you're competing against for the job. And I just think that it's very, it's something that's necessary. And a lot of people aren't doing it anymore. And so I think
especially the written note.
Yeah, the written note, the handwritten note is even better if you can get that out. What I have done in the past when I've interviewed is I already have it written before I even go to the interview. The only thing I have to put in there is the person's name
and a stamp.
I pretty much have everything else because then I just go straight to the post office when I leave there and put it in the mail. They usually get it the next day or within 2 days. And it's just an extra reminder of, oh, hey, that Kendra Askew, she's on top of it.
Well, that's definitely a lot of helpful information for those who are looking for jobs. So for employers, I know a lot of my viewers, a lot of my friends in my network are not only business owners, but also employers. What would you suggest for a market like it is for them to find top talent?
Well, I'll say that they need to do exactly what you would be doing if you were looking for employment. That they need to, let it be known. Social media, check their sphere of influence for sure. Friends, family, co-workers, former co-workers, former employers. People are, willing to help. And another thing I found about when you ask your friends, family members, people like that, they're not going to refer you to somebody that they think is just not good. They usually are going to do a good job of trying to get you someone that's quality. And so I would definitely say to put it out there that way to see if you can get some quick response and some referrals. Well, the job market in Knoxville, I've been in this for 7.5 years, like I mentioned earlier. We have the lowest unemployment rate that we've had since I've been with Randstad in 7.5 years.
That's awesome.
And so it is awesome, but it is a struggle as well. Our unemployment rate is anywhere between 2.7 and 3.6%. And so it's very, very low. And so it is more difficult to find people that have, to find qualified candidates.
Understood. So is it more difficult for qualified candidates to find employment as well?
No.
Okay.
Now, this is the thing is that if you have a nice resume, you have a stable work history, and you're not unrealistic with your salary expectation, you should have no problem at all in today's market finding a good opportunity. And so I say this, if you've been thinking about leaving your current employer, now's the time to do it.
Given some great information, and a lot of the things that you've said could be applied across the board. It doesn't have to be just East Tennessee. So if you're watching and you're somewhere else around the world, a lot of the things Kendra's given us are tips that would transfer state to state, nation to nation. So if someone is interested in a manufacturing and logistics opportunity, whether it be direct hire, temp to hire, how can they reach out to you?
Well, you can reach out to us. My office phone number is 865-512-6184, or we have a Facebook page, Randstad North Knoxville. You can send us a message on there or apply for our many jobs that we have posted on there. The easiest way to reach us is just calling us by phone. Again, the phone number is 865-512-6184. You can call in. We will do a pre-screen. And typically what I tell everyone, if you qualify for a face-to-face interview, we typically will have you in a new position within 1 to 5 days.
Awesome. Thank you, Kendra. This is some great information for job seekers and employers. Definitely reach out to Kendra Askew with Randstad if you're looking for either employment or top candidates in the manufacturing logistics realm. I know that you've given some great information, and I definitely look forward to sharing it with everyone. Hey, like, share, comment below. Tell me about your experience. Again, this is a we thing, not a me thing. We do 10 minutes with Tinian to help in all areas, not just health, not just fitness, the mind, the body, the soul, all aspects of life. Let's get it together. 2020, it's a new day, and hopefully this will help somebody. It helped me. So next steps, make sure you reach out to Kendra or comment below, but subscribe.